So you want to be a Mercedes. So you want to be an archer, but you want to be able to do very quick attacks while also being very mobile. And you like unicorns. Then you've come to the right class. So in the beginner tab, if you go to your link skill, you'll see that it gives you extra EXP, but also, if you use the skill, it'll teleport you back to your hometown. LOL. And I just wanted to show off this beautiful area, which you can get to just by pressing the up key on the tree. Now let's get into the actual skills. So in the beginner tab, we have pretty much passive skills. They don't really do much. Healing, 5% HP and MP every 4 seconds. But you get updraft. And this skill makes getting up ladders a breeze. All you have to do is when you're on the ladder, rope, whatever, chain, press up or hold up and then press jump, and you'll shoot straight up the ladder. It also gives you invincibility, so you're able to just flash jump through things. It's a short invincibility, but invincibility nonetheless. The longer the rope, ladder, whatever, the faster you climb up and the longer you go. However, of course, if I'm on a short one over here, it doesn't go as fast, but it still goes all the way up compared to this one. Alright, next we have First Job. And in First Job, you get Swift Dual Shot, which does 3 lines to 3 enemies. And it also auto-targets. So if I jump in the air, it'll, shoot down at them if they're down there. Very good beginner skill. You also get a bunch of passives, and a flash jump called Glide Blast. Now, you can only do it once, doesn't go very far. It's not one of those, amazing flash jumps, but it still gets you around. And of course, you can go from doing that, flash jump to the next rope, and so on. So, I mean, this class is very mobile, if you pretty much get control over it. Alright, so crit rate 40% First Job, that's amazing. So let's just move on to Second Job, shall we? Second Job, I didn't really enjoy Second Job as much, but I mean, you gotta get through it to get to the good stuff, right? So you finally get Booster. Oh, I should also mention that Mercedes gets passive 1 attack speed. But anyway, Booster will give you 2 attack speed, making you, of course, attack faster. Piercing Storm is your mobbing skill, basically. It hits 6 enemies 4 times, and it does not auto-aim. So if you, aim too high, it'll just keep going straight. It's just a piercing shot, but it gets the job done. It's also pretty fast. Mercedes attack extremely fast. A lot of people say Mercedes are weak, but when we get to Third Job, and even Fourth Job, you'll see that they're definitely not. They've probably just been playing them wrong. Anyway, next is Rising Rush. So I should mention, when holding down and using Rising Rush, you'll not use the push part, you'll just use the part that tosses them in the air. But when you use it, you dash forward and then throw enemies into the air, and enemies thrown into the air will take 30% more damage. So I'll just show you what that looks like. So you dash forward, and then you throw them into the air. Or if you just hold down, you'll just toss them into the air. Parting Shot. This can be used in a combo with Rising Rush. So after you use Rising Rush, you can either press the attack key, or you can press the key itself if you put it on your keyboard. You can just put it on your keyboard if you want. But you can also just press the attack key after doing Rising Rush. So there you go. It's just a matter of how you want to do it. It doesn't do anything, it doesn't give it any bonuses if you use the attack key. It's just up to you. And I don't know. I didn't really like training like this because it got me hit a lot. I would rather just push them all together, jump away, and then use the piercing shot. That was just the way I trained in Second Job. I don't know. Second Job wasn't too great for me. And then you get a bunch of passives. So I guess I'll just go over them just so you can pause the video if you want to see them. Alright. Moving on to third job. Finally, we get a decent mobbing, like a better mobbing skill, and we can combo more. Oh, this is where Mercedes becomes fun for me. So in third job, let's start with the Stunning Strikes. Mine is the 4th job version, so it's going to be red instead of green, and mine will also hit more enemies more times. But when you're in third job, you do 4 lines on 5 enemies, and there's an 80% chance to stun enemies for 6 seconds. And when you stun enemies, you do 20% more damage. Or enemies that are stunned will take 20% more damage. So I'm trying not to one-hit them, but goodness, Mercedes, stop being so strong. Alright, so that one's stunned. And then, yeah. You could just use this to train. Like, you don't have to do the combos, but you'll see once I get into the combos that any enemy that's still standing after you do your combo is probably a boss monster. Leap Tornado. You can only use this in the air, and you have to have over 120 jump to be able to use it. Or 120 or more. And it's pretty much a combo extender. Or you can just use it for mobbing if you just want to only use it for mobbing if you want. As you can see, it'll also launch you into the air, and if you use it late, it kind of just... how do I put it? Delays your fall, but if you use it right after you jump, you launch yourself higher into the air. Anything else? No. Does 4 hits, 8 enemies. Unicorn Spike. I mainly use this for bossing. So what it does is it hits 8 enemies, 5 times with all critical hits, and it applies a debuff to enemies at 100% chance. The debuff allows you to do 30% extra damage for 30 seconds. There is a cooldown of 10 seconds, but if you use combos, like link your skills together, the cooldown is reduced by 1 second for each combo. Oh, I should also show you what it looks like. So here it is. Just launch unicorns at people, and that's the debuff. That's the debuff. That spike above their head. Gust Dive can also only be used in the air. It's like your combo finisher, I guess. So you could do something like that. Water Shield. When you use it, you absorb 30% damage for 200 seconds, and you also have abnormal status and elemental resistance, which no one really cares about. Alright. Then we get Aerial Barrage. This skill is not used often enough by people that don't really play Mercedes. This skill is going to be so useful because it launches you into the air so you don't have to jump to use Leaf Tornado. You can just use it right after Leaf Tornado right after, or if you want to use let's see, you could do Gust Dive straight from it. It's just an auto launch basically, and you're invincible during the whole thing. I should also mention, when you're using Rising Rush, you're invincible until the last hit, or until you launch them into the air. So during this whole push animation, you're invincible. I believe when you launch them into the air, you're not invincible, so let me just test that out real quick. Oh, maybe you are. So anyway, throughout this whole animation right here, I'm invincible, until I land on the ground. Anything else I'm missing? Elemental Knights. You can just summon one of 3 knights, although you can have 2 of them out at the same time. So if you summon the Ice Spirit, there's an 82% chance to freeze enemies, and my skill's not maxed. When it is maxed, it's a 90% chance to freeze enemies for 4 seconds. The Fire Spirit does damage over time, and the Shadow Spirit just has more damage than the other 2. So right now I believe I have the Ice Spirit, So if I were to, I don't know, attack this guy, then there. Now the Ice Spirit is attacking and it froze him. And then once the cooldown is over, I can summon the next knight. And then Ignis Roar. You are basically rewarded for doing combos. So this skill gives you 2% final damage for every Link skill that you have, and it stacks up to 10 times. So you get, what, 20% final damage? It's pretty good. And then passively you get 15% more, and 40 attack. But this skill, very useful. Very useful. Final damage increased due to Link skill usage can be stacked 10 times, lasts for 10 seconds, and the damage is stacked additively. So yeah, big boost. So now, when training in 3rd job, I mean, hopefully I don't use my 4th job skill by habit, but pretty much you're going to be doing this. Like that, okay, you can't really see because I'm lagging, but basically you go into the aerial barrage, and then you do gust dive. And then you can just continue the combo from there. So I think there's more muscles down here. So that. And you're invincible during this whole combo, because Gust Dive also has invincibility. And that's pretty much how you train in 3rd job. I launched myself too high. Alright. The Unicorn, I mean, you could use the Unicorn if you want, but I never really used it until I was bossing. Leap Tornado can also be very useful, because you can do it twice if you're high enough in the air. Let me see if I can do it here. Yeah, so if you do Rising Rush, and then Aerial Barrage into Leap Tornado, you can do it twice. If you launch yourself high enough. Although I keep lagging during Aerial Barrage, so I can't really show you. But you get it. You get the idea. So now we'll move on to 4th job. And this is where you get your combo finishers and everything. I love it. You also get your bossing attack. So now we have Ishtar's Ring. And when you use Ishtar's Ring, or I guess I'll explain what it does first. So it does 220% damage 2 times. So it's pretty much a double-lined hurricane from the start. And because your final attack does 2 lines, you get, 2 extra lines, so you're doing 4 lines every... Anyway, it's really good. And then when you hit an enemy, Ignis Roar, the Link skill, the skill that, when you link combos, like when you do combos, how it has a 10-second cooldown. Every time you hit an enemy with Ishtar's Ring, the cooldown is extended by 0.1 seconds. So as long as you're continuously hitting an enemy, you can keep extending the cooldown. So that way it's not just 10 seconds. And let's see, it has a passive effect. Next is Spikes Royale. And what this skill... Oh god, this skill. I pretty much use it as a combo finisher, because it does all critical hits. It puts a debuff on the enemies, making you do more... it allows you to ignore their defense. But it hits 12 enemies 3 times for 610% damage, which is a lot, and has a cooldown of 5 seconds. But the cooldown can be reduced by 1 second every time you use a combo skill. Or every time you use a combo. By the way, Rising Rush counts as its own combo, so if you want to get to 10 just easily, just keep using Rising Rush. Or if you don't want to do the push part, you can just do the, that part. And that counts as a combo as well. But anyway, so yeah, it's a great combo finisher. All the hits are critical. Lightning Edge. When you use it, you'll dash across the screen, and... Oh, by the way, well, I'll get into it when I get to the combos. Lightning Edge pretty much just allows you to dash, gives you invincibility during the whole animation, and a little bit afterwards, I think. Seems like it anyway. Let me check. Oh god, there's a boss here. Let me see. So if I do this, yeah, it's a little bit afterwards as well. Lots of invincibility with this class. So when you use it, it does 3 lines on 8 enemies, 420% damage. Allows you to ignore, collision, which pretty much means you get invincibility. But it can put debuffs on bosses, which allows Ishtar's ring to do 20% more damage. Next we have Spirit Nimble Flight. And this skill, I'm just gonna throw this over here, allows you to escape it basically gives you a teleport. So if you're caught in the middle of a combo and you don't want to, stay in that area, you can just teleport to the side, you can teleport up, you can teleport down to either side. It's pretty much your escape option. And that's all that really does. Only works in the air, by the way. I wonder if... Yeah, you can use it after any skill as long as it's in the air. I don't think it can be used on its own, though. Nope. Then we have Ancient Warding, which gives you 30% attack power and 1,500 HP. By the way, a lot of the passive effects gives you avoidability, so, even if you're not using these combos, you have a lot of avoidability. Passive... Passive... Another passive... Staggering Strikes is the upgraded version of Stunning Strikes, which does 4 lines to 8 enemies and stuns at an 80% chance. And the final... well, I think it's basically the same skill, just more enemies that you hit. And more damage. Maple Warrior gives you and your party 15% all stats. Hero's Will heals? What was I about to say? Cures all abnormal status. Or almost all of them. And you're immune to status for 3 seconds. Rolling Moon Assault is another combo extender, although you can use it without even being in a combo. When you use it, you do 300% damage to 8 enemies 6 times, and it'll reset the flash jumps. Like, you can only flash jump once. After you use Moonglide, or Rolling Moon Assault, what? I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. So you can only flash jump once, but after using Rolling Moon Assault, hold on, let me wait for that because I didn't flash jump. So flash jump, Rolling Moon Assault, and then you could flash jump again. And aside from that, it has a 4-second cooldown, and that's about it. Okay, so you've seen all the 4th job skills. Now let's go into the hyper passives. So I added into all 3 Ishtar's ring to give it extra damage on bosses, and extra ignore enemy defense. I didn't put into any of the water shield, because sure, you absorb more damage, but if you use all of the invincibility, you don't really need that. Abnormal status resist, I mean, if you want to, I don't see why you would, though. And elemental resistance, not really great. And then for the last 2 points, I did Spikes Royale 20% and 20% ignore defense. The last one is, it just gives Leaf Tornado more damage, which I don't really use it that often. It's my combo extender. Alright, so going into the active hypers, at level 150, you get Elvish Blessing, which gives you, for 60 seconds, gives you 80 attack and 100% knockback resistance, which is wonderful for ranged classes. At 170, you get Wrath of Enlil? I've never actually read the skill. Enlil? Anyway. It hits 10 enemies 10 times for 400% damage, and has a cooldown of 8 seconds, but the cooldown is reduced by 1 second every time you combo a skill together. And then at level 200, you get the normal 10% damage to you and your party, well, the heroes in your party. And of course they all stack, so if you have, 5 other heroes in your party, you can get a lot of percent damage. And that's all the skills. Now we're going to go into the combos. I mean, there's so many combos, you can do it in so many different ways, but pretty much the way that I always start my combos is Rising Rush into Aerial Barrage. Which, yes, is a third job skill, but believe me, it's worth it. So let me go ahead and buff. Oh, I should show you, here, so here's the 150 hyper. That is not the 150 hyper. Here's the 150 hyper, so I don't get knocked back anymore. And I also have a lot of attack. And then here's the 170 hyper. So yeah, very, very great skills. Let me go ahead and summon this guy. Alright, here's it again. Okay, so the combo that took me a while to learn, another Mercedes had to teach me it, was Rising Rush into Aerial Barrage, into Leaf Tornado, into Rolling Moonsault, into Leaf Tornado again, into Spikes Royale, if I could stop lagging, into Leaf Tornado, and then into the 170 hyper. So it looks like this. Oh my god, lag. Well, you get the idea. And any enemy that's still alive after all of that is probably a boss. So you may be saying like, oh, you went so high into the air though, like there's no enemies that'll be way up there. Well, that's true. But if you delay the Leaf Tornado after doing Aerial Barrage, Rolling Moon Assault would be used closer to the ground. So delay it a little bit. Okay. Delay it a little bit. Delay it a little bit. Ah, that's still too high. Okay, so hold on, if we do this. There we go. And any enemies that are pretty much like on the ground will be hit. Though these guys will probably die way before I actually get through the combo. But yeah, that's how I trained my Mercedes. I never really used Stunning Strikes unless I really needed to. And you're pretty much invincible during that whole combo as well. Except for the end part. The Wrath of Enlil doesn't give you any invincibility. But yeah. That's pretty much the training. I mean, you just do that combo and all the enemies that are in your way will probably be dead by the end of the combo. So, I think it's safe to say I can go into the bossing now, right? Yeah, you'll get used to it. I mean, the other way to train is the more boring way, and you also take damage, which is just spamming Stunning Strikes. Which, I guess, gets the job done, but again, you're going to be using a lot of potions. Meanwhile, doing this, you don't use any. I mean, I guess you could land or something. Like, when you land, you take damage, but, just throw in Gust Dive. And you have invincibility there, the whole combo. Oh, you know what? Before I get into bossing, let me also mention that, because the flash jump isn't very fast, like it doesn't travel very far, I should mention that if you use, what was it, Lightning Edge, you know, if I just hold it down, it's not going to be very fast, but it does travel far. However, it still counts as a link if you use Leaf Tornado on the ground. You'll just be spammed a lot with you're not high enough to use this skill. So just spam the two skills, Leaf Tornado and Lightning Edge, and you'll be able to travel through maps a lot faster. And like I said, you're also invincible during this whole thing, so I mean if you want to train like this you can, but I wouldn't suggest it because it's a lot slower. But yeah, if you just want to travel through a flat map, this is the best way to do it. It travels really fast. But again, you will be spammed with you're not high enough to use the skill. Was there anything else I wanted to mention? I don't think so. Okay. Well, if there's anything that I missed, I'm sure someone can tell me in the comments. So let's get into the bossing. Okay, so here we are. Start off with doing a combo, just so we can keep the stacks up on Ignis Roar. And then do Unicorn, Lightning Edge, and Spikes. You can do that in whatever order you want, as long as you use them. You can also move around and jump while using the bossing skill, Ishtar's Ring. So once again, just to make sure the buff is there. And I want to test something. I've never actually done this. What if I do that, and then... No, I can't. Okay. I was seeing if I could dash down. Here, let me see. Oh yeah, you can. I just timed it wrong. So after doing spikes, you can teleport down using that one skill. I forgot what it was called. Spirit Nimble Flight. And that's how I boss on Mercedes. So hopefully I don't lag here, so I can actually show you the combo. So once again, Rising Rush into Aerial Barrage. It is called Aerial Barrage, right? Yeah. And then Leap Tornado, Rolling Moonsault, Leap Tornado, Spikes Royale, Leap Tornado, and then finish with Wrath of Enlil. Whatever. I lagged a little at the end, but you get the idea. That's if you want to get really high, though. If you want to stay low, you can also do it. You just have to delay your skill. So, I could do something like... Wait. There we go. Or... something like that. There's so many different ways to play this class. That's just the combo that I like using. You could switch it up if you want. You can add Gust Dive in there if you want to keep the invincibility. I don't know. There's so many things you can do. So many things. I'm not going to go over all the combos. You can probably, I don't know, figure them out yourself, or... Anyway, I just wanted to say that this class has a lot of ways to dodge attacks. They have their own invincibility when attacking. And it's not as weak as you think it is. It just hits very low numbers, but it does the low numbers very quickly. So anyway, this video's been going long enough. Oh my goodness. I've been recording for 36 minutes. I'll try to cut it down. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.